The history of war between the United States and Iraq is not a single event but a series of interconnected conflicts spanning over 3 decades, rooted in shifting geopolitical interests and the pivotal moment of Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. The first major military engagement was the Gulf War of 1990-1991, Operation Desert Storm, a massive, US-led coalition campaign that successfully expelled Saddam Hussein's forces from Kuwait but intentionally left his regime in power, establishing no-fly zones and over a decade of debilitating economic sanctions. This period crippled Iraq's economy and infrastructure, leading to widespread humanitarian suffering, while a relentless US and British policy of containment and weapons inspections created a state of perpetual tension. The watershed 9/11 attacks fundamentally altered this calculus. Despite a lack of evidence linking Saddam to the attacks, the new US doctrine of preemptive warfare targeted his regime under the primary, but ultimately false, pretext of eliminating weapons of mass destruction, WMDs. The Iraq War, 2003-2011, dubbed Operation Iraqi Freedom, began with a shock and awe bombing campaign that led to a swift conventional victory and the toppling of Saddam's government. However, the disastrous decision to disband the Iraqi army and pursue a sweeping de-Baathification policy dismantled the entire state structure, creating a power vacuum that ignited a savage insurgency, a brutal sectarian civil war between Sunni and Shia factions, and the rise of al-Qaeda in Iraq. The US military was caught in a bloody counterinsurgency, leading to the surge of 2007, which temporarily suppressed the violence by combining a troop increase with a strategy of partnering with Sunni tribal militias. Although the war was officially declared over with a US withdrawal in 2011, its consequences were catastrophic and enduring. It resulted in hundreds of thousands of Iraqi casualties and massive displacement, cost the US over 4,400 soldiers and trillions of dollars, severely damaged American global standing, and critically, created the very power vacuum and sectarian divisions that allowed the Islamic State, ISIS, to emerge, conquer vast territories, and drag the US back into a new military intervention in 2014. Thus, the US-Iraq wars represent a cyclical tragedy of initial military success giving way to intractable instability, demonstrating the profound perils of regime change and the immense difficulty of imposing order on a fractured nation. The war between the United States and Iraq, primarily known as the Iraq War, 2003-2011, was a transformative and deeply controversial conflict that stemmed from the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks. The US administration, under President George W. Bush, built a case for invasion based on the assertion that Saddam Hussein's regime possessed weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, and had ties to al-Qaeda, claims that were later widely discredited. Launching Operation Iraqi Freedom in March 2003 with a coalition of the willing, the US military achieved a swift conventional victory, toppling Baghdad and Saddam's statue by April. However, the rapid dissolution of the Iraqi army and the Ba'athist state apparatus created a power vacuum that plunged the country into a devastating and prolonged civil war and insurgency. The conflict evolved from fighting remnants of the former regime to a complex multi-sided war involving Sunni insurgents, Shia militias, and the emergence of al-Qaeda in Iraq, which would later morph into the Islamic State, ISIS. The US surge of troops in 2007, combined with a shift to counterinsurgency tactics and alliances with Sunni tribal groups, temporarily quelled the violence. The war officially ended with the US withdrawal in December 2011, but it left a fragile Iraqi government and a deeply fractured society. The conflict's legacy is profound. It resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Iraqis and over 4,400 US service members, cost the US trillions of dollars, severely damaged American credibility and soft power globally, and fundamentally destabilized the Middle East, creating conditions for the rise of ISIS and increasing Iranian influence in Iraqi politics. US military, 4,491 killed, 32,000 plus wounded Iraqi civilians, 150,000–600,000 estimated deaths Iraqi security forces, 17,000 plus.